What's up? What's up? It's your boy Kirk Rules. I'm back on the Kerbinator podcast. Today is going to be a little different. I'm going to speak about Korea. But before I get into it, please support the Ability brand. We are trying to bring awareness, and it's just a dope brand. It's for people who are driven, who are goal oriented, who wants to be successful or successful already, motivated, and we bring all of that out of you. You know what I mean? It's it gives you the ability to do with that whatever you want to do in life, because you do have the ability. We have several hats, several t-shirts, everything. If you love to golf, we have some golf polos on there for you, some golf hats. This brand is going to be huge. It's not just fashion, but it's more like networking and interconnecting with other brands. So please definitely hit the link below and definitely show support for the Ability brand. The other thing, please subscribe. If you watch the channel, please subscribe. Just to show love. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit the subscribe button and you can catch the latest with your boy Kerbinator Rules. We're going to be giving out a prize in the next coming video. I can't let you know what it is, but it's going to be big. So please subscribe so you can catch the latest on that. I'm a peaceful person. I don't really want to comment on anything that's going on currently with Kyrie and Ye. Only thing I can say is peace be unto those brothers. I have commented on the situation with Ye, and that was because I was emotional. My emotions got involved, and I always gotta remember, like, I gotta calm down, and not only calm down, but to hear myself first before I jump to conclusions. Because sometimes I jump to conclusions, but I always listen before I say something. So in this situation, I just want to relax on that issue and then jump into this one. So if you haven't been to Korea, matter of fact, if you don't know where South Korea is below North Korea, and North Korea is attached to China. If you know where Japan is on the opposite side of Korea. South Korea is a little below. It's like the half. If you look on the map, you'll see like North Korea and you see South Korea, and that's what South Korea is. It's right next to Japan, and North Korea is kind of attached to China. So and it's on the far east of Asia. So if you ever look at the map, look at the Asian continent, and then you'll see like a little. If you look at like United States and you look at Florida, you see how Florida is like at the end. So if you look at China, you'll see like a little like line that will be North and South Korea. And I'm talking about South Korea. That's where South Korea is on the map. I have traveled there, so if you ever want to travel, I only know from New York City, to travel to South Korea takes about 13 to 14 hours to get there. So if you ever plan on traveling to South Korea, that's the time frame, especially if you're traveling from New York City. That's the time frame it takes to get from New York City, JFK, to Seoul International Airport over there. And their airport is amazing. It's probably one of the best airports I've ever visited in my life. It's a beautiful airport, amazing. The city itself is beautiful. So I've gone to Seoul, and I've also gone to Jeju Island. Jeju Island is a little below South Korea. It's basically their Hawaii of their country. It's a beautiful place. So I've gone to those two places. I've been to South Korea several times. I'm actually trying to learn the language. So 안녕하세요 to all the Koreans out there. I hope I said that correctly. I'm still learning the pronunciations and and everything. So kantana meaning, are you okay? So, and 안녕하세요 is to say hello in Korea. So, and 감사합니다 is saying thank you in Korean. So, if you are ever trying to go to any country, you should always learn that language. So, therefore, you can get by when you're over there. So, if you ever plan on visiting Korea, definitely learn the language. South Korea. Learn the language, learn the Korean language, learn their culture, their history, everything. It's beautiful. So the city of Seoul is an amazing place. It's similar to New York because I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. As you can see, the tattoo on my, I don't know if you can see it, but I'll come and show you. Right there, Brooklyn. Anyway, if you ever go to Seoul, Seoul is like the capital of South Korea. It's so beautiful. The city itself is a beautiful place. It's amazing. There's so many different province there in Korea, So I like Seoul. I always stay at I always stay in Gangnam at the Sheraton Palace that was there. I think during the pandemic, they may have been bought out by another hotel or another name. So it's no longer Sheraton Palace anymore. But that's where I stayed. I stayed not too far from the Han River. Han River is similar to Battery Park. It's a beautiful place. It's an amazing area to go visit if you ever get a chance. It's right near their port authority, basically, like their bus port. It's right in that area. It's a beautiful mall. It's a huge mall. I think the mall is called Shinsegae Mall, I believe. If I'm saying, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I don't want to offend anybody. But that mall is an amazing mall. So if you ever get to go there, definitely you can stay in that area. It has everything. It's walking distance. They have a train station there. Han River is walking distance there, so you can walk to Han River or take a bike there, or a cab. The cab service there is very easy. It's not that much, a few dollars. They have mini stores and mini shopping areas you can shop at over there. Because, like I said, it's in the Gangnam area. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So their G's is like their K. So it's like Gangnam area. Like, Gangnam style. Gangnam style. So that is also a city. In their country, especially in Seoul. It's like a high-end area. It's like the Fifth Avenue, I would say, of Seoul. In my opinion, I think it is. But like I said, it's beautiful. Oh my God, the food, it's so good. They're mostly into their spicy culture, so they're into a lot of spices, especially kimchi. If you like kimchi, it's like a, no, if you have cabbage here in the U.S., cabbage is the best to explain. That's basically what they have, and they have in cabbage. But the only thing is they seasoned their cabbage, so, and it's called kimchi. It's so good. It goes with all their foods. So if you ever visit a Korean restaurant or anything, that's what they serve you. That appetizer is what they serve you. Kimchi. not only that, they they have an amazing. I'm talking about. U.S. is into chicken. We're black folks. We love chicken. You know what I mean? Especially down in the South, we have a very good fried chicken, deep fried chicken, and it's so good. And we're into hot wings and things like that. Well, in Korea, they're really big on chicken and beer. So if you ever go to, Han River or anything, they have like a chicken and beer thing. And even in their restaurants, they got these small pubs, and it's really awesome pubs. And they have a chicken and beer thing. It's really dope. So I advise, if you ever get to travel to Seoul, definitely the food is phenomenal. The Not only that, it's very clean there. It's super clean, super clean. For me, the people are nice. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know for me, the people that I've ran into, the people that I've met in Seoul and Jeju, they were really nice to me. I have a personality, and like I said, learning the language can get you far. And I had a lot of fun when I was there. I went to the clubs that they have there. They have some amazing clubs. The reason why I'm talking about South Korea is really because of Itaewon. I've been watching this Korean drama called Itaewon Class, and but before I jump into that, I want to send my condolences to all the families and all of the people that lost loved ones in Itaewon. Itaewon is it's a city or a province in Seoul. It's similar to, so let's say you want to go to Brooklyn. That would be like the reference. So you go to New York, but you want to visit Brooklyn, or you go to New York, you want to visit Manhattan or the Bronx or anything. That would be similar to Itaewon or any of the other provinces that I'm naming in Seoul, South Korea. So Itaewon is very famous area in Seoul, and it's very diverse. You will meet a lot of foreigners from different parts of the world there. Recently they just had celebrate their Halloween festival, but it became so popular that so many people was there, and that Itaewon has like a lot of narrow areas, and when you have so many people, like think of like a parade, like think of New York New Year's Eve, right? And then you just see all those people that's there. That is the same thing that happened in Itaewon, but the difference is Itaewon have like narrow places. So if everyone trying to squeeze in, and it's just an unfortunate event. Someone probably yelled out something or saw something, and everyone started running, and it becomes a stampede, and a lot of people got hurt, and many people have, passed on because of that situation. So I definitely want to send my condolences out to all the Korean families that have lost loved ones in that tragic event, and not just Korea people, anyone who lost a loved one in that tragic event. Just want to send out my condolences to you. But the reason why I'm talking about Itaewon, because Itaewon Class actually is an amazing Korean drama. Because of this brand, we're up and coming. It's an up and coming brand, and it's going to do huge. It's going to be a successful brand. It's not just only about fashion. It's more to it. It's way more to it. So I recommend anyone who is planning on being successful to watch this Korean drama. It's about a young man who goes through different obstacles in life, and the reason why I love it, because it kind of reminds me of the things that I've been through growing up, the thing is, people like me, if you come from certain backgrounds or certain neighborhoods, you don't make it out of those neighborhoods alive. That's why I'm gonna speak more about my life and how I came about and how I am here today in 22, I probably wouldn't have been here if I didn't make certain decisions in my life earlier on. And I am happy to be here to be sharing this with you guys. So this Korean drama, especially the first and second episodes, was a very big, oh my gosh, it was so huge. It's basically a guy, young kid. He wants to be a police officer, and he just defies a lot of things and do what he wants. So he gets transferred to a new school, and in this new school that he gets transferred to, he sees a young man beating up another classmate or peer, and he sees that. He just finished, telling the class he wants to be a police officer, and he sits next to someone he's sort of known from neighborhood or through meeting or passing, and he sees this kid being bullied, and he looks over at the teacher. I mean, the teacher wasn't there at first. The teacher ended up leaving, but then when he went and he told the kid to stop, the teacher comes back into the room. The teacher doesn't do anything, and he told the kid to stop, and the kid tried to jump in his face. Oh, no, the kid was beating up the other kid a little bit more. And he wouldn't stop, so he ended up assaulting the other kid. He beat the kid up, basically. The kid, everybody ran to the guy that he hit, because he is a conglomerate son. So he technically runs the school system there or whatever. Everybody kind of jumped to his pace. I would have done the same thing. I'm not even gonna lie to you. If I saw something like that, because first I would try to stop it, and if not, then I would have probably hit the kid too, So I understood what he did, because the teacher didn't even do anything. The teacher was standing right there, and he even, before he hit the kid, he said, "You're not gonna do anything?" to the teacher, and the teacher was like, "Oh, stop playing around, blah, blah, blah." Basically, he didn't want to do anything. But as soon as that kid got hurt, the wealthy one, the teacher, everybody ran to the kid. So it kind of sucked. Then they go into the principal's office or the higher administrator's office, and the guy who punched the kid, his name is Sasri, I believe his name is Sasri. He was getting beat by the teacher. And I'm like, why are you getting beat by the teacher? Because he punched the other kid? He punched that kid because that kid was beating up another kid. No one said anything when he was beating up the other kid. But as soon as he hit him, it's because the kid is wealthy. And that's why. Then the wealthy kid just, his feet up, just chilling with a tissue in his nose and everything. And you see him getting punished because he assaulted this kid. Now, they had to call the parents. So his father is the head of a huge company called Jenga, I believe. And the kid who punched the other kid, he works for the wealthy kid's father. So they had to come, and now the father's like, we gotta, we work together, and I've known his father for a very long time. So, we can handle this like real easy. So he says to the father, he said, have him just come here, apologize to my son, and get on your knees. Basically, in Korean culture, when you get on your knees, it's like bowing down. It's like basically, it's the most, I'm sorry, but it's like very humiliating to do. It's humiliating. It's like it brings down your self-esteem. So if you are getting on your knees, you're basically apologizing or giving in to whatever was done. So the father told his father that he should get on his knees in front of his son and apologize. And the kid said no. If he did something wrong, he would have done that. But he didn't do anything wrong, and he would never bow down to his son. So his father, the wealthy father, got pissed off about it, and he said, oh, he's not going to do that? He's like, what type of son do you have? And he asked his employee, so what type of son do you have? And he said, I raised them well. It's just, these kids today, I'm not going to force my son to, So he said, well, I guess you can't work for me no more. So because of that situation, he said, you can't work for me no more. So, okay. So he fired him. No. The father said, I'll resign. Just like that, I'll resign. And, his son was crying, because technically it wasn't fair. I'm going to be honest. It wasn't fair. He should have raised his son, especially from a wealth perspective, should have raised his son a lot better than that. But obviously he didn't. So, he fired him. Later on down the line, the son and the father, they were bonding more because now they're planning to open up their own restaurant and, start a new journey. So the father was on his way back from getting maybe some groceries, something. He was riding a moped, and maybe back up a little bit. So the wealthy son, he got a limited edition car. The car was limited edition, and it had the license plate 777 4 times. And one of the girls, he said, why don't you jump in my car? Let me take you out. And the girl was denied him. He was like, no, I don't want to get in your car. So it was like, I told him it was limited edition. He said, I'm the only one who got the plates. Fast forward. So the father is on his moped. He's grocery shopping. He's about to go to the restaurant. And he ended up getting hit by the car that said 777. He ended up dying. The son, he's at the funeral. And he's crying, he's pissed, hasn't slept or eaten. The girl, who happened to be fond of his father, a police officer comes by to let him know that they caught the perpetrator or the person who committed the crime to kill his dad, and gave him the pictures, and he saw the pictures, and he couldn't believe it. I guess they was gonna pay him or something like that, and he was like, "That's what my father's worth. That's it." And he ended up falling on the floor. The girl who was next to him, who is fond of his dad, she saw the pictures, and she saw the car that said, the limited edition car that said 777, that happened to be the kid that he punched. He said, "Are you sure?" He went after this kid. He was looking all over for him, from the school and everywhere. He found them at the hospital. outside smoking with a broken arm, and he beat this kid's ass. I'm telling you, he beat his ass. But he ended up doing 8 years in prison, you know. But he was coming for revenge. He was coming for revenge. And he's going to get the people who did his father wrong and him wrong. Because technically, the wealthy, they hid the case. You know, they basically, you know, paid off some people who could change the meaning of the case, and that's exactly what happened. So he got out of prison, and you know, when you're a prisoner, you know, you're basically shamed. You know, no one wants to hire you. You know, no one wants to be around you. So, but this kid, he had a plan. He was in prison for 8 years. That's kind of crazy. He was in prison for assault, 8 years. So he ended up getting out of prison. And he had a plan. The plan was to build a restaurant. And this restaurant is supposed to take down the wealthy people. The wealthy people, they own a huge conglomerate, which is a huge foods company. They're in the food industry. So he wanted to compete with this company, take that company down. And man, he does an amazing job doing it with planning and like it. The reason why I'm telling you about this Korean drama, I'm telling you about it because it's inspiring. That's the real reason why I'm telling you. I know I went through a little bit of the story, but I'm really telling you it because it's an inspiring film series. It's amazing. It's basically show a guy who comes up and he, even though through the obstacles of coming up, he still gets beat down, but he never let it define him, never let it you know, he never, like, it's like he had to step 3 feet back, but he took 6 feet forward. You know what I mean? It's like every time something came at him, he had to take some steps back, but he went forward like 10 feet after that. You know, so his story is amazing. And the things that he had to deal with is amazing. I think everyone who's in a position like this deal with the same issue. Like, we all go through shit when we coming up. You know, let's say if you have a fashion line or you have some accessories or whatever you're trying to do in your life. And, you know, the grind is always hard. It's always tough. It's always challenging. You're always trying to, you know, be the best version of yourself. And then, you know, you're trying to get everyone on board to, you know, to like, fuck with you pretty much. You trying to get everybody to like, yo, come rock with me. Yo, I got something happening. I'm doing big things. Yo, rock with me. You know, and most people are like, you know, they don't even want to bother you. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to support you. None of that. Because, you know, they're kind of like haters in a way. Some of them are haters. Everyone who's on the come up, they're haters out of me. And then when you blow, then they like, oh yeah, you know, like think of it. Like I'll give you an example. I think let's say Meek Mill, right? No. Let's say Jay-Z. When Jay-Z was coming, he was this hot shot rapper who rapped real fast, and everybody was like, yo, he gonna do things, but people wasn't really feeling him like that. You know what I mean? Nobody wanted to give him a record deal, you know, when he was being shopped around many different record companies, and nobody went in. So, you know, what him and his partners did, they created a company by themselves. They said, "Fake this. They don't want to give it to me. I'm gonna make one." Him and his partners put money together. They created Rockefeller Records. Then after that, they started distributing the records they put out on their own until one record label took notice, which is Def Jam. They took notice and they brought Jay-Z along, and then now Jay-Z is on Def Jam. They partnered up. There was a partnership. They partnered up, and then they were able to release number of hits and other artists through this label, and it was an amazing situation. And then now, if you look at Jay-Z today, where's Jay-Z? Jay-Z have Rock Nation, and he's up. He came from $0. I'm talking about from pissy hallways and the housing project. If you ever been to New York, I don't recommend you go, but if you're ever in New York and you happen to be in the Marcy area, there's a housing project. It's huge, it's tall, it's different from any building you ever seen. That's where he came from. I mean, he didn't come from the version today. The version today is much better than the version in the, I think, 80s or 90s. You know what I mean? The one back then. It's the same building. The only difference, they cleaned it up a little bit. But before, it was horrible to go there. As a matter of fact, you couldn't even go there if you wasn't really from Brooklyn or you wasn't from that area, But I don't recommend anyone to go, so please don't go. If you want to see a housing project, if you're ever in Manhattan, just go to the East Coast on 14th Street, and you're going to see a small housing projects, which is like Stuyvesant Town. And those are small ones. But in Brooklyn and the Bronx, everywhere, they got really, I'm talking about real tall ones, like almost 40, 50 stories high. So, but that's where Jay come from. He come from Brooklyn Housing Project. He became a hustler. He saw what he saw outside, and then he emulated, and he became a hustler. And then he learned, he discovered he had a talent with words, and he put those words to music, and he became one of the best lyrical MCs ever in the hip hop world. And then not only that, he also was a boss, and he produced a lot of people. I'm talking about Ye, Rihanna, J. Cole, and many different artists, Neo, and all the Rockefeller family, and he put out a lot of people. And then he went on to purchase a small streaming company at the time called Tidal, and he ended up owning that, and then selling it later to he ended up selling it for some profits. But Tidal is an amazing brand. I use Tidal to this day. It's a streaming platform where artists can put their music on. So he came up pretty big, and he's a billionaire now. So this is why anyone who's on the come up on anything, I'm talking about if you're going to be an artist, an architect, a lawyer, a doctor, accountant, computer whiz, anything, you have no excuses, because if he can come from zero to $1 billion, you too can do the same thing. You understand? You too can do the same thing. So there is no excuse, especially if you're a black person. No excuses. This guy just, his life could have went totally different. Obviously in the past he was a drug dealer back in the day, but he's one of the people who never got caught as a drug dealer. You know what I mean? Like, how there's people, like, everybody respect Pablo Escobar, right? They respect this guy because he came from zero to worth billions of dollars, but he got caught. You know what I mean? Pablo Escobar got caught. He got snitched on by some of the people that he worked with, and then plus at the same time, being that he was the only person, or his group cartel was the only people in his country with high-end equipment, they were easy to spot, because the FBI and everybody, they only went after people who had this type of equipment at the time. So he ended up getting caught and killed by the FBI, or the people who was working with the FBI, or not the FBI, the DEA, or whoever was after him at the time, for selling coke in US. This guy made billions selling coke in the US. And a lot of people respect that. It's the same how people glorify Scarface, the film Scarface. You know, they see how this Cuban guy, he came from nothing to worth millions or something like that. And people glorify that, you know, especially out in my culture, they glorify stuff like that, you know, and it's only because it's people, what it shows, them being poor, and they came from being poor to wealthy, or they came from the rags to riches, you know, and people love a good story like that. And Jay-Z has a good story like that. Even I have a story like that. I'm not rich like Jay is. I'm not rich yet, but I'm from the rags, but I am in the journey to be rich or be successful in my life. So that's the reason why I'm talking about this film, this series, Itaewon Class, because it basically showed this kid comes from $0, being poor, to successful. And he actually did everything he said he was going to do. He said he's going to dethrone that company and make that person apologize and make them crawl on their knees. And if you watch it, I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. I'm going to speak more about other Korean films on this channel and anything that I watch, you know. I love Korean drama. Korean drama is amazing. I've been watching Korean drama for more than a year, I believe. And I only started watching it because someone told me if I want to learn Korean, you should also watch Korean drama. Yes, of course, you have to study Korean, but you should also watch Korean drama. And you should study Korean, the language. You should speak in Korean. So if you are planning on going to Korea, please, I recommend you learn the basic languages, which is hello, how are you, thank you, where is, you know what I mean, are you okay, like the basic knowledge of Korean. It will get you a long way, you know. The culture is very different. Black people, listen, I can tell you this, if you're from, and I'm talking about black people from America, I can't speak for every black person, but I can speak to the people from New York City, or in the United States. If you're black and you're traveling to Korea, you're gonna experience many different ups and downs. I can only say from my experience, I experienced a lot of ups. I didn't experience any downs. Please clean yourself up. This is not a diss to you or anything. People kind of prejudge black people or people of color. So look your best when you go to these international countries, any international country. Look your best. And if you're traveling to a third world international country, look your best, but not too flashy. You know, we just came off a pandemic, and you know, a lot of these third world countries, they lost a lot of money, a lot of jobs were lost. So you don't want anyone to rob you or anything like that. So please travel safely to these countries. And same goes for if you travel into Korea. Just be careful what you do. You cannot do what you do in your country in their country. It is against the law. Please, I recommend everyone learn the laws of the country that you are traveling to before you travel there. Because some people think that what they do in the US, they can also do in another country, and you cannot. You know, if you're a type of person who love to spit on the floor, something like that, and you travel to Singapore, it is a fine and you can be locked up for that. You understand? So please, please, I will stress this enough to you. Please, don't do what you do in the US in those countries. They don't have the same laws. Everything is totally different. Just be on your best behavior. Try not to drink too much, or try not to drink at all. But if you're with some comfortable people that you really trust, okay, that's fine. But if you do not trust anyone and you travel there alone and you don't have any friends or whatever, please, please do not drink at all. You know, you're alone, you're by yourself, you don't want anything to happen to you. So definitely try not to drink any alcohol when you're out in any country if you're traveling by yourself. And this goes for everyone. Because since the pandemic, there's been a lot of problems in a lot of countries. So you have to be careful in every country you go to. You know, even the US, if you travel into the US, you still have to be careful. So I recommend everyone who love traveling alone to please use caution when drinking. And be careful with your things. Don't put anything in your pockets. You know, get like a nice small bag that can go into your shirt, and if you have like a jacket over it or something, a zip-up jacket, you can put it, you know, in there, put everything in there, and then put your jacket on and zip it up. Don't carry anything in your pockets. You know, you don't want, and if you're taking money out, go to the bathroom, go to somewhere where no one can see you take money out of it, because you don't want to get robbed in any place that you visit. You understand? And be aware of your drinks. If you're traveling to any third world country, be aware of your drinks. Third world country drinks are very cheap if you're coming from US. US currency is very high, so your money is a lot more in their country, in their currency. So if you walk away from your drink or turn your head on anything, just get another drink. It's cheap. Just get a brand new drink. Don't drink the drink that you were drinking before. It's very easy for someone to slip anything into your drink and take advantage of you. You understand what I'm saying? So please be very careful. Be careful. I know Americans, they love to go to South America. They love to go to DR and all these different places, these beautiful locations, but be very careful, all right? And traveling. But it's your boy Kurtz, and you know, I just want to give positivity and let everyone know that please be safe, be careful, and watch this series, Itaewon Class. You can catch it on Netflix, or you can catch it on any other network that hosts this series. It's an amazing series. All right, it's your boy Kurtz, and I'm out.